Hey there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. It's DMG, and welcome back to Blitz. And today we have the pleasure of watching Mikamoose99 playing in the KV4. Now, what is this video all about? Well, with all the recent tech tree changes coming to Blitz in Update 5.5, and if you have no idea what those are, I really recommend you read the in-game news. Or if you've ever seen Skate's channel, go check out his video on how to earn massive buttloads of gold. But regardless, changes to the tech tree are coming, and it really makes you think about how wargaming views progressive learning throughout the game. For example, in the IS4 line, they are changing the T150, and they are removing it from the tech tree and making it a collector's vehicle, sellable for gold, actually. And they're replacing it with the KV2, and this is in progression to the IS4. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I don't feel like the KV2 is quite a progressive learning experience going from KV1, KV2, KV3, only in name, right, for progression. But in terms of the playstyle of the tank, I feel like the T150 is definitely more of a learner for the IS4 than the KV2, the monster big derp that we all know and fear at Tier 6, you know, makes you clench your butt cheeks whenever you're in a light tank, right? And you're driving around. But to more of a greater point, think about Tier 8. Now, Wargaming isn't making any changes in Tier 8. However, this is food for thought. You know, there are two tanks in the Russian heavy line at Tier 8 that could lead reasonably to the IS4. One is what you're watching right now. This is the KV4 currently in the tech tree. It's a very interesting vehicle, actually. It's not, I would say, overpowered. It used to be a borderline overpowered, but since, you know, premium shells now cost credits, power creep in general, it's just made the KV4 a little bit out of the meta. It's a little slow. The tumor on top, the machine gun port on the top of the turret is super annoying to deal with. And that's why some people run the stock turret, but still that has problems of its own, right? But hey, you know, KV4 can still work, and you're going to see that here. But the other option is the IS6, and you'll see that next replay. But is the KV4 the true predecessor to the IS4, or do you think the IS6 would make more of a progressive learning experience for players? I know Wargaming wouldn't even think about moving a premium tank into the tech tree. However, it is food for thought. Wargaming is getting rid of a lot of low-tier tanks, tiers 1 through 5, one tier 7, and a handful of tier 6, actually. So it just really makes you think. If you are interested in the IS4, you will need to go through this tank unless you use free XP. Not something that I'm not going to tell you to do, but, you know, it's a decent tank. It's not awful. The side-scraping ability of this vehicle is absolutely fantastic, and Mikamoose is doing a fantastic job of using the albeit slow speed to still counter faster tanks. As we see a RU-251 and an AMX 1375 try and go at Mikamoose in his KV4. Kind of a dangerous situation right now, as he doesn't have really a rock to get behind, nothing to angle off of. He's out in the open. He's relying on pure raw armor thickness, something that the KV4 does have in spades. And he really needs to penetrate right now. Does get one in there, but autoloader's on clip, and it may be all over for Mikamoose. He does need to keep angling to this RU. Hopefully he bounces. KV4 shoots the RU before the RU is able to fire back, and he's able to finally have a dead carcass to angle to and use some kind of roadblock for this 1375. 1375 is on clip, expecting to pen, bounces twice on the KV4 side. I was about to say the KV4 front, that's why there was that awkward pause right there. Regardless, Mikamoose is going to make a fantastic move in this map area right here. he starts looking like he's going to chase the 1375, but instead just angles around, expecting him to try and go for the kill. The 1375 could simply just run away and try and draw the game, but this is Encounter. There are no supremacy cap points to win by. He needs to come around, tries to get into the shot, into Mikamoose. Mikamoose turns around and preps his tank, is ready for him, takes him out of the game. 4,400 damage and 5 destroyed. Great stuff there. I love watching older tanks do the business, especially when you see all the Draculas, the Type 62s, the premium spam, right? It really gets to you. It's good to see tanks like the KV-4 can still be used effectively, albeit it is more difficult. I won't make any amends or try to sugarcoat about that, right? Now, what is the true predecessor to the IS-4, the Tier 10 Soviet? I almost said German. I am off today, right? The Tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. Is it the KV-4 or is it this tank, the premium Tier 8 IS, the IS-6? Well, I can't even say premium Tier 8 IS because there's the Defender, the IS-2SH. I feel like there's another one, but there's just so many of them, right? How can you keep track? IS-5, yep, another one right there. You know, there's just too many IS Tier 8 heavies, but which one is the true predecessor to the IS-4? I do think that the IS-6, in my opinion, is more of a progressive learning experience for the IS-4 than the KV-4 is. It's not really that good to have such a tall tank playing at Tier 8. Whereas this tank, you look at all the natural angles, the natural sloping on this armor profile makes it almost idiot-proof. And not to say that Mikamoose is any idiot, he's not. However, he is using the gun that I prefer not to use. It is the heat gun. You trade a little bit of rate of fire, well, not a little bit, actually a significant amount of rate of fire to gain extra heat pen. And it actually looks like from the reload, because if I remember correctly, it is 11.2 seconds for using the heat gun running a rammer. It looks like he may be using calibrated shells, which means he's pumping up his heat pen all the way up to 297, which is higher than that of the standard Object 140. Now, the APCR pen is good, but especially when you buff it out at 220, right, you're adding another 5% and then another 10% on HE. You just feel like you're getting those consistent penetrations, which is making the difference for Mikamoose in this game. Now, Faust is the newest, I won't say call it new anymore, but it is the most recent map introduced, and Mikamoose is taking an interesting position. I usually don't go up here, but he's able to use this location, side scrape out, or even poke out with his angled front. IS-6 does have a similar front armor profile to the IS-4, and it is working out for Mikamoose in this situation. I do like how it's angled and the lower plate is quite small. However, with the KV-4, you get a really large lower plate and armor thickness. Something that I do think that is important to note is that while the IS-4 has thick armor, it relies on the front angles, right, to carry it. Its front armor actually got nerfed. So, you know, I think something that's really cool to take note of is that when you have less armor, you're usually lighter and have a little bit more mobility. As we can see here with this IS-6, it's able to get about the field a little bit quicker than the KV-4. I really hope this does challenge how you think about the game, and you know what should wargaming be doing about low tier or just changes to the game in general. Don't take my word for it. Form your own opinions. But I hope this is a little thought-provoking for you. It almost makes it seem like Wargaming wants you to buy this premium tank, doesn't it? And not to say that, well, that's their goal to make money, of course. However, if it really is a true predecessor to the IS-4 more so than the KV-4, and it would provide a more progressive learning experience, it may be a quick way to make a sale, right? But the IS-6, fantastic armor profile for Tier 8. When you use the heat gun, I know it's supposed to be the same gun handling between the heat gun and the DPM gun, but I feel like the heat gun's gun handling is so much worse. Significantly worse. I feel like I hit more shots with the DPM gun. Maybe that's because I get the opportunity to take more shots because of the higher rate of fire. But regardless, this HE roll he's going to have right here could change the game. It does. He hits him in the back and takes him below 400 HP. That Type 59 is now within a 1 roll. That really makes it easier on Mikamus to deal with these targets, because now the enemy really has to think about how they play this. Side scrapes beautifully. T-32 does not have anywhere near enough penetration to go through the IS-6 reliably. And you can even see here the simple armor profile when you angle, and granted that was him missing, but oh my gosh, low rolls right there again. But as you can see, the armor profile of this tank is fantastic. Angle a little bit, you get bounces off it from standard rounds. HE is more than enough to finish off that Type 59 in that situation. Will Mikamus be able to put in the final shot? That T-32 front profile is quite strong, actually. Hopefully he can get that shot in with calibrated shells. He does. Fantastic work there for a heaping 4,600, I believe, damage. And how many kills? I believe that's 6. It's a little bit small on my screen. But anyways, if you like that content, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. And if you didn't, please leave your constructive criticism in the comment section. Thank you for allowing me to share my passion with you today, and I hope to see you next time.